Welcome back to another exciting Monday at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. I should say.
7 a.m. I'm at work.
Yeah, exactly. Happy President's Day to those that actually celebrated and you actually had a day off. I'm jealous.
Same.
But other than that, how was the weekend, gentlemen?
Well, sum it up in 2 words. I worked.
Yeah, it was actually quiet and good.
There
Quiet.
you go.
Yeah. How about you?
Oh, it was awesome.
It's good.
You know, doing some therapeutic hobbying, if you will. So can't really
Nice.
complain.
Nope.
So who we got in the chat this evening? We've got White Sox Tom coming in first, as always. Then we've got your buddy Dom. And he's shouting out Team Banana Hammock. So that's a plus.
Your buddy Dom or our buddy Dom?
Our buddy Dom.
It's our buddy Dom.
And we got Victor in the chat. Maddie, how's it going?
What's up, fellas?
So today's episode, we're going to do things a little bit differently. Rather than talk a lot about the drama that's going on in the hobby, I decided to dial it back and take a more educational approach when it comes to the hobby, because I'm noticing every Monday we have that 1 or 2 new faces that come in, and like one last week, he was relatively young, and I know we was talking offline, and he's like he wanted to get into the hobby but doesn't know where to start. So that kind of inspired me to go with the approach that I did with tonight's segment, and I actually had to incorporate a little bit because I gave both Mike and Arnie a rundown on how I got it presented, and it's kind of it's a force of habit. I've been doing this whole military thing for so long. I'm taking something fun, and I got it structured as if I'm still back in uniform.
Yeah, we have 4 spreadsheets this week.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And that's okay, because I'm very scatterbrained by design. That's how I was built, and that helps me, because if I don't have that, forget about it. It would be derailed before it starts. So yeah. I actually think it's a good thing, and then I think it's good for the chat too, because they can kind of follow along as we go and focus on a topic, and then the chat gets a little bit more interactive.
Yep, I agree. So first thing we're gonna go ahead and kick off with, and let me pull it up for everybody, is the upcoming releases. And it's really not saying much, but we got Panini Prospect Edition Baseball coming out, and that is actually due to be released on the 28th of February. We've got one of Arnie's guys here. We got Travis Bazzana on the cover.
Yep. Maybe a good chance to get some reasonable priced autographs out of Travis.
There you go. And without having to scroll any further, we already know there's 6 packs a box with 8 cards in each pack, and you're looking for 6 autos on average. Okay, and these are what some of the pictures are looking like. Not bad.
No.
Can't really complain about it.
They always make nice cards.
So I mean, the Kaboom, I don't know how to feel about the Kabooms, because I do know that's a basketball thing or a football thing.
Yeah, both football and basketball. Yeah, I don't know. They still have to incorporate the big branding, which is the Kaboom. How the other design looks and the name, I don't know. I guess that's what Kabooms are, right? It's a real picture of the face, and the rest is like a cartoon comic, right? Is that normal for football?
It is.
In the chat. Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
so are these prospects that have been signed?
This is basically the pro debut version that we just saw with. Is this 24 or 25?
This is 24.
Yeah. So this is just like this is basically the pro debut version for Topps.
Okay, so at least it has their team names of the teams that
they got Cleveland here.
Okay.
So the only guys that are in here, there is going to be the newer draft class, so they're rolling everybody in from when Pro Debut was out. It was just regular the first round of prospects from the prior year. This will have the new prospects, which is Travis Bazzana, and then Caglione, and then also if you look at that dual signature, that dual is also in Pro Debut for 24. the one with Paul Skeens.
Do we have a price point on this yet?
The price point on this, if I remember correctly, they're looking at about between 130 to 150.
That's what I figured. Thought it might be a little bit lower.
Yeah, so we're looking. This is a guesstimate on eBay, and they're looking at $149.99.
149, yeah.
So we'll see how long that price lasts. But
Yeah,
I mean,
usually products like this, they'll come down a little bit.
Because I mean, it's a 200 card checklist. You know, these are all the parallels that you have a chance at grabbing. I'd like to know what this ticket stub is, but they got the reds, the blues. Now the colors, I think the numbers do not correlate with the colors itself, but that's just me. Like I would put the red number to 10, the gold to 49, so on and so forth, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, they may have snuck in a couple of active players in here now, but for the most part, it's pretty much just all the prospects. So don't expect much.
I think that's what it's supposed to be. It's all prospects. It's kind of mimicking the 24 Pro debut.
Yep, Dylan Cruz, Ethan Salas.
I did see Skeens.
Yep. Skeens was on that dual auto that they showed.
Yeah. So you're gonna have a couple that's gonna be snuck into the set, but you know, if you're big into prospecting and you know you've already cured that itch with Bowman, you may want to consider going Panini if you're willing to expand on your collecting habits. So I mean, that's basically it. So once it actually released, I'll take a look at some of the videos, see what they look like, and we can make an assessment from there. So that's pretty much it with that one. All right. So now as far as reviews, you know, we all got a good glance at Series 1 because Friendly Neighborhood Breaker down below actually conducted a double case break recently. So from the breaker's perspective, what do you think about the product itself, Arnie?
Minus the term breakers. Thank you. I love the product. Tame expectations with every release, and the numbered stuff. If you're looking for numbered stuff, it's not going to be there. But the rest of the stuff, let's call it hits outside of numbered stuff, and that includes autographs, is plentiful. It's very good. I will say that for the most part. Now, can you see other case breaks and other people's stuff that has less hits or more hits? That's normal for all releases. So that's why keep in mind, this is flagship. This is Series 1. Don't expect a small little box with, 6 packs in each mini box like a Bowman Chrome, and you're going to get 4 color and 2 autos, and it's going to be great and small. And wow, I got 30 cards, but I got 6 numbered cards and 2 autos.
Yeah,
it's bulk. It's flagship. It's set building. It's trading. I love it because it's affordable, and I'm already working with 5 or 6 different people on the very first week with sets right now, and that's what to me it's all about.
There you go. That's awesome.
So
now, from my perspective, watching some of this stuff being ripped into and being involved in some of these breaks,
because you buy into multiple people's breaks just to get your teams.
Yes, it's refreshing. But then at the same time, you get worn down from it quick. And
is it because the length of the breaks because there's so many cards?
No,
in terms of the pace
really
of the action.
I guess like if you was to just do a normal case break, format irrelevant.
Yeah.
The repetition of duplicates, triplicates, and all that, it kind of wears on you.
Okay.
I mean, granted, for some, like I know in my perspective, if you was to pull 5 different base Julios out of there, I would be appreciative because once I get them, then I can take all of them, look at them all, and pick out the best one I'm going to send to go get upgraded.
100%. Now, if you get a bunch of hits in color, it's nice. I guess I like that part because at least I can see that other people are getting hits because I know your team you get is not always going to hit,
Right.
but it's nice to see other people getting hits and being those breaks. That, man, I was in a break. I didn't get too much, but it was awesome. It was action packed. So there's that entertainment value because it keeps the train moving with everybody else kind of getting fed a little bit and having their day, which is nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best part for everybody would be to see that once in a lifetime hit or that chase card that has been advertised, like those Barry Bonds autos.
Yeah, we saw it. We saw it on this break.
Yeah.
You know, granted, I didn't get the Giants, but my reaction felt as though I did pull it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of breaks where people say, I was in that break, some of the bigger cards and, memorable hits. And it's like, whoa, I remember that. That was awesome. And, and that, honestly, sometimes that gears you towards collecting that card or going after that card. Like,
exactly.
Hey, I loved it. You know what? I think I want to grab one of those. So,
I mean,
another nice added element, like you said, to being part of a whatever break you're in or community. Because, like I said, I think a lot of people know. Just get into a room if you're questioning how they are or how they do a break. Hang out in the room, drop some comments in the chat, see if you get recognized, see if the chat's fun, it's interactive, and then you don't have to spend a nickel. You can hang out in the chat for 4 or 5 months and then finally decide to dip your toes in. But always test out a breaker or anyone opening up some cards for you without spending any money. Just hang out in the chat and see if you like it first. That's a good way to get started.
Any thoughts, Mike?
I really enjoyed Arnie's break. As far as Series 1 with the autographs on the 90s cards, oh my God. The players that you're pulling, I didn't expect to see those names on the autographs. I mean, legitimate all-star Hall of Fame names that you can pull, not the run-of-the-mill. This guy was in the minor leagues for 7 years and it's his first rookie card or something like that. You're getting really good autographs, which is very surprising to me.
And I thought they did a good job with the names. And then there is some rookie. You're gonna get
you're going to get some of them. But
those guys where you're like, wait, who is this? But there was not a lot of that, which was nice to see.
Now, I do have one critique that I don't know if I'm the only one that caught it, but
sure, go ahead.
It bugs me out. So with this new insert, the call to the hall, okay, pretty much everybody that we've seen pulled in there is a Hall of Famer. Is that right?
I think what it is the date. I believe there's here. You know what? Let's see if I got a face card.
Like for example, I know I've seen one with Ichiro on it. He's been elected, but he's not in yet. What the hell is Pujols doing on a call to the hall card?
He's going to get in.
I got that, but
like slam dunk going to get into the Hall of Fame.
I understand that, but
so
we're talking 5
not
years
in there
from
yet.
today. We're talking 5 years from now.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's going to be a while. Is that a jump the gun type of card?
I would think so.
Yeah, that's something to think about. Not that you said that.
I mean, not that I'm against it, but I kind of found that ironic. Like, you'll see Ernie Banks, you've seen Ichiro, you've seen Hank Aaron. What the hell is Dan Pujols doing here? That's just me. But either way, it's refreshing, for a lack of better terms.
Yeah.
But still hanging on to the whole Series 1 type deal. So we know all across YouTube, because that's where most of the information actually comes from. You'll have that one or two individuals who tend to be very productive within the hobby, and they want to share their wealth of knowledge with everybody in regards to these new releases, as far as formats, what the preferred format to get the best bang for your buck, so on and so forth. One person that comes to mind would be Striker Breaks. He does it every flagship release that comes out, and almost 9 out of 10 times his assessment is spot on.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now, Topps, on the other hand, I guess they took a page out of his book and maybe saw one of his videos, but they did the same thing. Okay. And I just glanced over it because I'm under the assumption yes, they're gonna try to. They wrote up an article on what would be the best format to actually get in on, but in order to maximize on profit and sales, you're gonna want to pitch the highest of all formats. You know,
Price
so
point.
so yeah, exactly. So basically, here's where they go down. So they go into the hobby, and they already I'm speculating because now they're saying the hobby box is the go-to choice for collectors looking for a balance of base inserts and guaranteed hits. Okay, each box contains one hit, which could be an auto or a relic card, plus a variety of hobby exclusives. I agree. Okay, but that's not always the case, especially with a lot of these mishaps that have happened after production. More like the packaging process of these products before they get sealed up and shipped out. Like there's been instances where you've got these cards that are being packaged up. They're supposed to have autos on it. They got the spot for the auto, but guess what? There's no auto. Or you're just that lucky and you get that case where you're pulling like 15 101s.
Yeah, you get a real hot case. And
yes,
another thing with that is, I guess the time and the energy spent on pointing some of that stuff out, just use that to go. There's a process for that. Listen, no company's perfect, but the fact is that there is a process to go get that stuff fixed. Just that's where you have to go. Take that energy over there. But we see that with the internet and how it kind of spins off of that. But let me ask you a question. I want to back up real quick. Did you look for something that was like, wait a minute, the call to the hall? Did you recognize that, or was it something like, hey, this stuff's been pretty good and so far I like it, there's really nothing too bad to say about it, when you factor in price, production, what to expect, expectations?
Honestly,
how did you come up with that?
When I first noticed that, I've seen the what I'm gonna consider the norm. Okay, I've seen a Mike Schmidt called to the hall. I've seen a Hank Aaron. I've seen a Ernie Banks. But then I randomly see a Pujols, and I'm just like, wait a minute, he's not even in the hall yet.
Gotcha.
This don't make no damn sense.
Did you see something that was like glaringly head scratching, or was it just try to enjoy it in a way
the fact that I try to wrap my head around the fact that we've got a player who is almost a guarantee induction in 5 years, but it seems like the company went ahead and jumped the gun and basically put him in unofficially.
Okay.
And again, it's nothing wrong with that. I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna be like, oh, what the hell is Pujols? We don't know if he's gonna get into the hall. If you think Pujols is not a get into the hall, you need to get out the hobby and pick a new sport.
Yeah, get your head checked.
So, but that's just my little assessment of it.
Yeah.
So basically, with the hobby, yes, you're guaranteed hits, but the type of hit is what that's what equals for X. You don't know if it's going to be the auto. You don't know if it's going to be the relic. Statistically speaking, you pull 10 hobby boxes, you'll likely get anywhere between 2 to 3 autos. The rest will be all relics.
Yeah, it's full case was in most years 4 for the full case. Now, I know that can change. I've seen 5, I've seen 3, and then you get this other awesome relic. So the average has been 4 per case. Like you said, so 3 per 10 or whatever, or 4 per 12, roughly give or take 1 auto in terms of hobby. But we have seen some really nice hobby hits, though, which to me has been a little bit of a surprise when I figured that stuff should be jumbo only. But yeah.
Yep, definitely. So we're going to move on from the hobby and jump to the jumbo. So now, according to Topps, which is true, this is the premium option for collectors who love big hits. I don't know, but I mean, for me, that's kind of like what is a subliminal message for the consumer to gear towards the bigger end products.
Or is it the safe play to say, hey, we because they do print more hobby than jumbo, and right now, jumbo is sold out. When did that article come out? Because the hobby you could still get.
I mean, with jumbos, pretty much you're guaranteed 3 hits. You're gonna get 1 autograph, 2 relics.
Mm-hmm.
That's a given.
And the relics are better this year because they're not manufactured.
Oh, they're great.
That is a big plus.
Yeah, that's a big plus.
Huge plus. I agree with that 100%, Mike.
You know, so definitely. But the fact that they're saying, you know, if you really want to get those real big hits, go jumbo. Okay,
gotcha.
Which is not always the case, because in my mind,
it's not.
I've seen big hits get pulled out of hangers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And again, with this many variations of releases, we can kind of throw out X name and insert X card, right? And it's just the bigger sample size.
It's. I mean, I can see where they're going with this, and theoretically, it does make sense. But, and I'm gonna keep bringing them up. Little Timmy is not gonna have jumbo box money.
This poor kid.
You could be my son.
He's everybody's son
or grandson.
Because what if little Timmy wants to get his hands on a particular insert that you can only find in a jumbo?
Well, he's going to be cutting the grass all summer. I'll buy him a jumbo box.
Yeah, get his ass out there.
You know, so I mean, that's just my thing.
Oh,
all right, so now we're going to go down to the value box. It's an excellent choice for set collectors and budget conscious buyers, which is pretty much 85 to 90% of us on this live stream now.
Yeah, way to single us out, Tops.
You know, so available at retailers, you know, you got your Target, you got your Walmarts, and then there's other retail stores. I think Mayer is another one, Costco. So it does make sense. You're not going to be the likelihood of pulling that big hit as far as odds are concerned are not compared to that of jumbo, but that's not to say you won't find that one blaster or that one value box that will have it.
Yeah,
and it's cheaper if you get to pull something of that magnitude out of a value box.
Then it's a value.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the question now. What box is right for you? So for the hit chaser, they're talking jumbo boxes offer the most guaranteed autos and relics. Wholeheartedly agree. Okay. With the exception of the hobbies, because if you're looking for an auto and you get a relic, you're going to be butthurt. For the traditional collector, hobby box provides a mix of inserts, parallels, and a hit at a lower price point. Not the hit, but a hit.
Okay.
And then you got your retail rippers for, you know, ballers on a budget. So now the question lies, because I'm looking at the names of everybody in this chat, and I would say confidently a lot of us would go the retail route, but I'm not going to throw LP under the bus, but he would dabble in a case of hobbies. Because he's done videos with hobbies, he's done videos with jumbos, you know. So
he does not discriminate to that list of tops. He's definitely equal opportunity employer.
Now he will tell you what he won't get into, and I think a lot of us have the same frame of mind, because Blasters has just been atrocious this year.
They have not been good.
Agreed.
And that kind of limits
my small sample size. That was really good. Keep in mind, you can't get too excited or you can't get too down. But now that we start to see bigger sample sizes, then you can kind of make a better assessment. But the biggest thing for you, like you said about 10 minutes ago, is the new people in the hobby. Listen to people like Mike, like myself, like Enfuego, that gets into breaks. Mike does breaks themselves. People in the chat that do breaks, get into breaks. We all do the kind of similar sample sizes with the hobby. That's free information. There's all this stuff out there before you have to spend a single penny. That's free. And take advantage of that, because that's the best advice and information you can get. Is something you didn't have to pay for.
Yeah,
Now,
just
here's
do your research. There's plenty of stuff out there on YouTube. Just type in 2025 Top Series 1. You want to look at blasters, type in blasters, and you're
put
going to get
questions in the comments. Yeah, put questions. There's no dumb question, and just drop a question to somebody, and someone will answer it. There's a lot of people that are helpful in comment sections that will also jump in on other people's videos and help you out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can I go with option number 4? Because we didn't talk about hangers. I'd rather have 2 hangers than a blaster.
And let's talk about option 5. That's not out yet. That's coming this week, and I think that it could be pretty juicy, as the kids say.
Are you talking about the Super Box?
The Megas?
The Megas. That and the Megas. We both.
Okay.
There's 2 more releases we don't know about. So again, it's let's see what happens.
So for right now, and I'm posing this question to all 21 that are currently watching. Here's a scenario question for you. You go to your Target, okay, and you're looking for hangers. There's no hangers. You know what's going on, and with the blasters, because everybody's pretty much on board with their feelings towards that. Are you gonna pick up blasters, or are you just going to go to another location?
I'm going DGen Nation, and I'm buying something. That's just me. But
I personally would still buy something.
Yeah, because are you going there to grab something? That's one thing. But if you're going there to grab, some trash bags and some cookies and a gallon of milk, because you had to run to the store and you're out of something at home, you take the walk near the cart aisle. I think I'm still buying something.
I appreciate your honesty there, Lucky Pete.
I agree with Lucky Peter first. I'd walk away, and then I agree with Sean. I would buy it online.
Yeah, that whole thing of sleep on it, and keep in mind, guys, Series 1 is not hard to find. I know it's priced out at certain places, different prices, but it's different. It's definitely what did he say? My local Target repairs. Oh Jesus!
Only Dom.
Yeah,
only Dom.
So yeah, let me finish that thought. Just be patient. Be patient. I think Megas are going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For the amount of cards,
I hope
value.
So. I heard something about the foil boards where you were like last year you were getting 4 foil boards in every box, and now it's like you're lucky to get 1 or 2.
Yeah,
that's what I heard. I haven't seen it, so we'll just wait and see when some boxes are actually opened.
Did they have that for Series 1?
Here's a spoiler for everyone, because I've actually seen a video posted about the new format. Fanatics blasters.
Yes,
and we actually talked about it earlier. They did away with the aqua variation and replaced it with the border replicating that of the logo fractor.
I don't like it. I leave it alone. It's the whole idea of the word Fanatics was, and then they even have the aqua on the cover of the box. It's got Judge with those aqua batting gloves.
Right.
Yep.
So I mean, if you're considering getting some Fanatics boxes, just know that is going to be the exclusive in that format.
LP, you're correct with that statement too. That's just the second wave of releases. They took it off and put it back on, which is what we're going to see a lot of that going forward with all these releases. That's why I say, guys, we're talking 1.3 million per card on a base card, and then you back your odds out from that on the parallels. The stuff will be available. Try to buy 23 Series 1. Try to buy 24 Series 1 today. You can get it anywhere on any hobby shop site. It's everywhere. So just be patient.
There you go.
What are the prices on the secondary markets like Dave and Adams? I thought I saw 219 for a jump.
220. Yep, 220.
220. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If it's back on tops at what, 189?
Well, it's a buy at 189.
Yeah.
If you want to do a break and grab a case and do something like that, go for it.
Okay, so a blaster is $29.50.
Nope.
A hanger is $15.70.
Nope.
The Megas are $64.
Oof.
That's higher than last. They were 50 last year.
What site are we on right here?
This is David Adams.
Okay, David Adams, yeah. So yeah, everything's up 15. It's 15% roughly. That's normal though for these guys. You got to remember a lot of people.
I would take a shot on the retail. Why not?
Hobby is 118.
Yeah, that's a lot,
Yeah.
man.
And the jumbo's 226.
Oh, it went up. Yeah. Well, they dropped it to
$5.
229. Yeah, probably because Topps released a little bit more. They got to bring it down a little.
And then you got your value packs and the case $984. So
Yeah.
$979 a card. Pack.
Oh, what's what, the fatties? Yeah.
Yeah. The fatties, the way to go was Card Giants had them, and I passed on it because I did that break that one time, and I wanted to throw the cards into a fireplace. I'm sorry. I'm like, no, never again. A personal break, if you're going to do boxes, I think that's ideal when it first comes out for update, because update has to be a hand collated set. It doesn't come part of the complete set for Series 1 and Series 2. So if you have a chance to go and get update of any year when it comes out and it's cheap enough early, get the fat pack case, 108 packs, split it with a buddy or even 2 or 3 people. You can do literally 30-ish packs a person and go 3 ways. And I think it'd be a fun rip, and it's somewhat affordable compared to what's out there for update. So don't shy away from the fat packs, but Series 1, probably not a good idea.
Yep. So I just dropped the link in the chat for our next topic discussion. We're just gonna breeze right through it because I want to spend more time on what I really have in store for everybody. But basically, the article is explaining the rhyme and reason behind this year's Series 1 design. Okay, so basically, we talking about an individual who's been with Topps now for about 25 years, and he was the driving force behind the design. And what he did to come up with this design was he kind of took bits and pieces from designs previously, and came up with his own stuff. But the first thing he did, which I'm glad he did, was he looked at the 24 design and scrapped it. Okay, because I guess that didn't sit well. But basically, he was looking at presenting it in a 75 Topps design or 72, somewhere along the lines with the 70s. But ultimately, he went more on the route of the I think it was 82, he said, if I'm not mistaken.
Definitely 82.
With the line, yeah.
So basically, the design element of vertical lines on the left side are distant cousins to the 82 set.
Yep, which has it at the bottom. Yeah.
So it was a pretty fun read. I didn't read it all, but what I did read is little things like this kind of interest me.
Sure.
So, I never seen this before.
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, what's that?
That's
is that the insert that's across all the releases, kind of like the one that's in Big League that you can still get? It's
probably.
It's called what was it in Big League? It was called something.
You talking about Game Day Drip?
Not Game Day Drip. The other real hard one to get. It's in multiple releases. It's a insert that carries from product to product. Let's go.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. So maybe that's kind of like a let's go.
Okay. So
I love vintage stock. Lucky Peter, hidden gems. Yeah, hidden gems. There we go. Yep. There we go. Hidden gems.
So if y'all got time to read this, I mean, it's only a 3-minute on average read for those that are normal. It'll take me about 7 because I did 2 tours in the 4th grade.
I was going to say 6 for me.
7.
So that's pretty much what's going on in the hobby today. Nice. But now, what we're really going to get into, and
can I say one thing about Series 1?
Sure.
Black gold. I miss it already. Black gold inserts. I miss it already.
I guess they overfed us with the black gold the last couple.
You can keep black gold in there all the time. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'd like.
All right. So, with this segment, I want to go ahead and take a more educational approach, and by no means do not take what I say here or what Mike or Arnie say here in a derogatory manner, because not everybody has the same collecting habits. There's always room for improvement. There's things that I would do that Mike necessarily wouldn't, that Arnie wouldn't necessarily would, or vice versa. Okay. But what I'm gonna be presenting to y'all is basically how I go about doing my collecting habits when I'm out and about. Okay. But basically the segment for today is how does one go about getting himself or herself prepared to go to a card show, whether you're a seasoned person that goes on the regular, or you're just getting into the hobby and basically you have no clue where to start. All right, so the first thing, basically, a couple of things that we're going to cover is the purpose behind what we're going to be going over is, one, why we've heard it many times, card shows are dying, card shows are dead. Okay, my opinion, that's pretty much the heartbeat of the hobby today, whether it's a small venue with 10 tables or the national, people will still go to them. Okay, next thing would be to identify basically common mistakes beginners make. Okay, and some examples would be overpaying, lack of planning, poor negotiation. And sometimes that will apply to some of us that's gone to more than one show in their lifetime. All right, so basically couple of things. I know for me, when I get prepared, okay, I do come up with, in military terms, a packing list of things that I'm going to be bringing with me to a card show. Okay, I don't know if everybody does that, but some of the things that I do bring with me, well, let me back up a little bit. First, if it's something that is new to my local area, okay, I want to go ahead and figure out, one, where is it being held at? Two, what vendors are going to be there? Parking, obviously, admission, and all the little administrative stuff, I'm going to call it. Okay, because if you're going to hold the show in, the worst part of town, count me out. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to put myself at risk, especially walking around with however much money, however many baseball cards, or whatever the case may be. I'm not just going to put myself at that risk. That's why I don't go to Cleveland. I've seen First 48 one too many times. All right, but a couple of things that me personally, I'm going to obviously bring, and I actually have it broken down in detail because that's just the way I think. Obviously, you're going to bring hard cash with you because cash is king in any size car show that you're going to go to. Again, whether it's one that's in your local VFW or you're going to a national. Okay. And I'll keep the smaller bills. I'll keep the 5s. I'll keep 10s, keep 20s, for easier negotiations. Because you're going to run into that one vendor who don't even know what a Cash App is.
And there's a lot of them out there that just deal in cash. And they'll have signs that they just deal in cash. And that's a great point. And keep in mind, I know it sounds small what he's saying, but if you got a deal that where the guy's at 120 on the card and then you offer 80 and you guys work out at 95, do you have any change on you? And then you're just like, okay, 100 for the card, or let me get another card.
That vendor's going to look at you like you got an appendage growing out your forehead.
Yeah, he's like, no, I don't deal with that. Or he just deals in the cash apps and he doesn't have any cash on him, which is unlikely. But what I'm saying is, if you do 4 or 5 of those deals and your difference is $5 each time, that's another card. That's another blaster box. That's another something to put or money towards another bigger card. So always have a nice mix, and don't flash your cash out in front of people. Turn around and grab your money out of your wallet. Just turn your back to them.
Damn, Arnie jumping the gun.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, that's kind of the.
You read the spreadsheet.
Well, reason I've done that before because I was like, if this guy sees my money, he's gonna be like, he's got a handful of 20s. He's arguing over $5, and that's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get the card out of what I think is a fair price.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm seeing a lot of people posting comments of what you should and should not do, which I wholeheartedly appreciate.
Yeah, guys, keep firing it in there because everyone's reading different things.
Yes. All right. So the next thing that's going to be on my essentials list, obviously, we're going to bring a phone. But now on that phone, okay, you're going to want to have something that you can use to help you comp these cards that you're looking for. you know, and nobody has paid me to bring these up. These are just some things that I have used at one point or another. So some sites that you can use to reference comps would be obviously the norm. You got eBay, okay. You've got 130 Point. They finally have an app. Card Ladder, and then Sports Card Investor. Okay, those are some ones that you can actually use to help you comp out these cards. Now, they all uniquely have different features that the other does not. Okay, like there's certain things of Card Ladder that I absolutely love that SCI doesn't, Market Movers does not have. eBay, you can get 90% of your comps are pretty much auctions or those types of deals, but the ones that you're going to struggle with are the ones that accepted an offer less than what it was actually advertised for. That's when you have to go to 130 Point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
like I know
130 Points the better of those. If let's just say there's one to pinpoint on, do you think that that's the best one because it eliminates that secondary question of, well, this one has a line through it and it shows it's green, it says $1,400, but then you really find out that it was sold for a lot less. Maybe that's.
I agree. I mean, I would much rather rely on something and not have to bounce around from app to app. So
yeah, okay, I got you.
If that vendor is comping his stuff off of eBay, okay. Well, I've seen one here that they had an offer of $650, okay, and that's all I have. Well, that's when you pull out your handy dandy phone, pull out 130 Point. That one that you're looking at, he took it for, $575.
Yeah, he took less.
So, and things like that. Now with Market Movers, they actually have a feature on their app where you could scan, if you're solely buying slabs, you can scan their slab and it'll pull up all the comps for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I do like that.
Yeah.
Card Ladder, if you're pulling up slabs, they have an option where you put the certificate number in it and it'll give you all the details around it. Are you going to always find the comps for it? Probably not, but you're not with Card Ladder, you're knocking out two birds with one stone. One, you're checking to make sure that the certificate is actually legit, that the slab is real. And if it does have that information that it was bought off of eBay, you have that there also. That's just a couple of things to look at. Obviously, you're going to bring your charger and your cable because I don't know of anybody who spends only a half an hour at a card show. And then if you want to be a little extra, and I am extra, I usually bring pen and paper with me so that I would normally comp out what I'm targeting before I go to the show. And if I run into it, I've already got that information on hand. I don't have to pull out the phone, wasting another couple of minutes and go that route. That's just me.
Yeah, a couple good comments here. Comps are a funny thing. Yeah, they're very finicky. You can use them in various ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, 130 Point is definitely a good one, and it is nice they do have an app now.
Yep.
Yeah, great. Good point. Yep. Yeah, Maven. Yep. That's another good one too. Yeah, and there's a lot of good things too. And use what you feel comfortable with. And don't be afraid to just ask for a little extra time on a card. Hey, while you do a little research on your own, And if a dealer says no problem, he's probably a decent guy or girl to interact with, and then you'll end up probably doing a deal.
Rage makes a great point because if you base your negotiation off of recent comps, at some point those comps are going to end up at zero.
Well, here's the other caveat to that. It's a very good point. But you also have to remember, there's not the comp is only as good as the available card. The available card, I think, to me, plays more into within a comp is if I have two cards here, okay? Mm-hmm. If I have two cards in my hand here, like you guys could see,
right,
and one sold for X, one sold for Y, and you're far apart. It doesn't mean that that's the true comp, because the first seller could have just said, hey, I have no money into this. You don't know his financial position. He just sold the car because he wanted to free up space more than money. And he just says, yeah, I'll take $100 for it. The next guy got his sold. It's a true comp for $350. And that's probably what they're going for based on the color of a blue, a green, an orange, and a red, and a superfractor. Whether it's 1X, 1.5X, 2X, 2.5 with the color variations. But
or
just because
what
you
I
see
would
those
do,
two,
what I've done in the past was, in that same scenario, I'll take both comps, add them together, and then I would offer the average.
Yes, do a division, and also with the division, that's great to do an average. But when you have a small data or small sample size, like a card number to 10, it's very tough, right?
It is.
But the best advice is go to the prior year. If you're dealing with a rookie, go to the next big prospect from the prior year. Let's say we have Jackson Merrill today in 2024. Who was hot in 2023? Corbin Carroll, of the same caliber player, same similar style, same position. Go to that player, go back to the sales data and say, hey, here's a clear acetate to 10. They're really tough to pull. Here's what the Corbins went for. He was all the rage. Now it's all the rage. It's Jackson Merrill. Find a similar body player, similar comp player, similar hyped player. We have to use that word. It's realistic. It sucks, but let's use it. But that's a good way. And then if you can't find the card and it's, let's say, a 5-year card, a 5-year veteran, go back to the last year and say, okay, what does the 23 orange out of 24 go, or 25 go for from Chrome? That goes for $200. All right, well, we're pretty close. You can find ways to get the comps, but vintage is completely different. We'll probably touch on that next.
And we are going to touch on that.
But just the more modern stuff.
Rage, though, I mean, he gives great deals when possible, but some of the cards are uncomparable. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
like,
and that's kind of where you have to get creative. Yeah,
like those 25s, the 10s, the 5s. I mean, it's kind of hard. To do a little negotiation because they're so rare.
And as a seller, don't get aggressive as a buyer and get an attitude with the seller. And if you're a seller, don't get an attitude with the buyer. You're just trying to get a deal done. Everyone's trying to be happy here. You're trying to make money, and I'm trying to get the card I want. That's really all this boils down to. National Shop Merrill Auto 10.
That same scenario happened on the Merrill Auto number to 10.
Awesome, Andrew. Drop it in the chat. If it takes a couple times to type it out, just drop it in the chat. Let's hear the story on it.
All right, so now as far as card supplies and storage, what I usually bring with me, and not all at once, some type of slab case or a storage box in case, you pick up slabs, or you got some slabs that you want to wheel and deal for trade bait, or you're trying to sell off to get some new cards.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be these Zion cases that these kids are walking around with, Most of my stuff is from Amazon. Okay. $10-15 goes a long way. I do pack a package of penny sleeves and I bring a box of top loaders because I don't want to buy a card that it looks like somebody wiped their ass on the damn top loader. I want to put it in something fresh and go from there.
And if you have a decent sized show, a lot of obviously the National, those guys are set up there. So instead of traveling with it, you're not going to pay a ton of money more, but you can go right up to those booths that have all the BCW supplies, Ultra Pro, and all that, and you can walk right up to them and get a pack of top loaders. Will it be $1 or $2 more? Probably. Sure, it will, but you don't have to travel with it there. You just travel one way on the way back. If you're talking national, if you're talking more local show, you go to your car, you grab the stuff, put it in a box. But for slabs to lay them flat, you need at least a 500 count BCW white box. The 400 and 300 count are too small. So to lay slabs in, like Enfuego said, get yourself at least a 500 count box, and you can stack about a dozen slabs in there horizontal.
Or you could be an overachiever like myself and go with the best quality top loaders and sleeves. And yes, I am being sponsored by Card Shells.
This guy doesn't miss.
Okay. Yeah. Use my code and you'll get $10 off any order over $50.
Amen.
But anyway, now if we're solely focused on slabs, for example, or you're gonna, you're having a party in those value boxes, it won't hurt to bring a couple of team bags and some damn graded card sleeves.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, because you rarely see. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but a lot of the shows that I've gone to, a lot of those vendors do not have their slabs in sleeves. And sometimes those slabs, they're looking a little bit rough.
They look like they have them in sleeves. Yeah.
Mike buys a lot on eBay. So Mike, if you don't mind me asking you, what have you ever bought something where you're like, oh come on, this thing looks like it's got slid across the sandbox in the playground? You
Honestly,
ever got a case like that?
No, I really haven't. Everything that I bought that was a top-loaded card came in a sleeve. I was pleasantly surprised, and I left the feedback on the purchases.
Yeah,
because of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Another thing too. Let me add to this real quick. Check the cert numbers too when you're checking your slabs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. PSA has the integrated price tool now, where it'll actually give the sold comps, and it's pulling directly from eBay. So current sales will be pulled from eBay. While you guys are talking on the next topic, I'll grab my phone and pull one up and show you what that looks like. But even if you don't have the app, or if you don't have an account, you can still download the PSA app and use all of that data.
So here's that scenario that Andrew was talking about earlier. So he talked him down to $550 for the card, the auto Merrill, and ended up trading $550 in value for, I guess he meant to say, a 2024 Bobby Witt gold auto to $50 and a junior cam auto to $299.
Okay, what was the original ask price, Andrew, on that first card? The starting point of that deal, where you got them down to yeah, exactly, Adam. That's very, very, very easy to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all you have to do is scan the QR code, and I think it takes you right to the app.
Yeah, and you don't even have to have the app. You just take a picture with your phone, and it'll pull it up as a browser link. So the app is really, really, really easy to use.
Yeah, and again, Market Movers has the same feature that PSA has. If you're comfortable with Market Movers, you can scan the slab, and it gives you everything that you need.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest sticking with the PSA, simply because that data is coming directly from PSA. They're taking the photo of that slab. Now, if it's an older cert number, probably starting with less than 4 in the first number, you may not find that exact image, but post that, which is probably 5-6 years ago, you'll find all the photos on there. Once they're graded, they have a front scan and a back scan. Yeah, and that'll prevent you with even a card that's $200. There's fake slabs out there. Just be mindful of, you have the tools to check these things.
Okay, so he wanted $750. The last two sold for $400 and $1150 respectively. So
there's the hard comp. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's a big range. That's a $750. $750 difference.
Nice.
Yeah. So another thing is too. I agree, Dom. Agree to disagree. Circle gets the square.
Yeah.
Yep. So
that's some good info.
This is more geared towards vintage cards and those that are into vintage. And I know, Arnie, you're huge on it. Mike, you got some miles under your hood.
I'm getting back into it. That's where my focus is now.
I would like to consider Orlando the Shmee of vintage.
Yeah, easy. And Mike Petty too is in here right there. Mike just dropped a comment. Mike Petty
I know there's another one.
Oh, Mike Petty is got a really beautiful collection.
If you're targeting vintage, you're gonna want to bring a magnifying loupe and a LED flashlight. Okay, because with an LED flashlight, obviously, with how a lot of people conduct themselves in the hobby, we see an oversaturation of fake cards. Okay, there's lack of better terms. Now, with LED lights and magnifying loupes, that's half the battle of spotting them if you're new to the vintage game. Now, if you got some years under your belt, like I'm sure Mike does, I'm sure Orlando does, just by looking at it, and even what Magnus is saying, just touching the card, that will tell you all that you need. But if you just don't know, okay, with an LED light, if you're in a dark spot, or you able to get your area dark enough where you can flash that LED light on that card, and it lights up like a Christmas tree, stay away from it. because back then the ink that was used to produce these cards in the card stock, they did not have the ability to be as fluorescent.
Yeah.
Okay. Now with the magnifying loop, back in the day, the production was a lot different then than what it is now. Now you take a common card, a modern card. If you look at it, you'll have those microscopic dots of either yellow, cyan, blue, or a combination of all three.
Yeah.
If you see that on a 52 mantle, steer clear from it.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
the
pretty
pixels.
sure other people can chime in with other tips to the trade, but
Yeah.
I do know for a fact what I just mentioned is basically basic 101.
So the easiest one is if you're looking to build a set and you're looking for trimmed cards. If anybody's watching right now, you could just basically take a stack of cards, and if you pop that card on the inside, you can feel for that card. You can literally take your thumb and your forefinger on the opposite side, and then on the top to bottom, kind of just wiggle them back and forth, and you could feel that card in there. And then basically, let's say you're going to build a 64 top set. The best thing you could do, or you're looking for some 64 ungraded stuff. Sometimes the low grade stuff is the big name players. You can find them, and you just want ungraded cards. That's the route you want to go. Take a couple commons with you and compare it. That's all you need to do. Yeah, exactly. Thicker card stock, smaller card stock. You can feel them both. The thicker are very, very easy. But just stay away from stuff. I'm not knocking any seller here, because I sell certain stuff that if I did a show, I would have vintage that's ungraded, because it's it doesn't meet the criteria to grade a card. There's no upside to it. But if you see a guy with 200 slabs in 10 cases across his table or his display area, and then he has one little case with some nice vintage in there that's ungraded, probably stay away from that. And then because you would ask yourself, why are you grading that and not grading this? So the older cards will have a different feel to them. Just bring a common card. That's the easiest way to do it. Bring a common, one from each year. They all should be the same size after 1957. 1953 has the oversized with 54, and then the 55 Bowmans. But after that, it's a standard card size for, let's say, a 58, a 59, a 60. Just bring a common card. No one's going to fake a low numbered, first series common card. But the thing you have to watch out for is trimmed cards. If you see a card that's got a really nice sharp top two corners, and the bottom has edge wear, and then the bottom corner has a little bit of edge wear, that's natural wear. And then you see that top edge that's like razor sharp. They cleaned up one of those corners. They trimmed up one of those edges. They'll taper cut the last quarter inch of a card. And I personally like to do this. I take an actual slab. I have some right here. I'll show you. I actually take the cases and I cut them out of old slabs that I no longer use. And I take these when I'm going to buy a collection of cards. And not to say that anyone's trying to fake anything, but I have all the brands right here of all the different plastics. So if you take any one of these cards, they have this outline border. Here's a PSA standard right here. I snapped it out, and I have the tray. This tray with these raised borders are pretty simple. You can grab any card out of this stack. You stop right there, and you place that card in there. That card is going to fit real nice. If you have a bunch of play and that thing is rattling around and you're shaking it left to right and top to bottom, there's a lot of play, use this fixed piece of plastic. This border on the left edge to the right edge should have the same gap. If it's a taper and it's tilted, they cut that card on a taper to clean up that bottom edge or that other edge. So these trays do not lie. This is exactly what's in this card right here. And that's just the best thing you could do. Buy a cheap slab for $2. There's dollar slim slab bins. Crack this thing out, carry this with you. But I've got one for every card maker. And I always bring a box of commons when I'm going to look at something. I know what to look for. You know what a border looks like on a 1960 Topps card. You could just stare at it and go, wait a minute. This isn't off-centered. This card is just trimmed. There's a difference between a real thin edge and a thick edge. It's just completely missing. And if you have a hard time with that, take the card and flip it vertical. If you have a hard time vertically, flip it horizontally, and you can get a better view. And then also flip your backs over. If you ever see corner damage on a vintage card on the face of it with the coating, it's actually more visible on the back. Find a card that's graded like a 4 and you see a little bit of a corner wear, flip it over, and I guarantee you that corner wear is most likely going to be worse on the back. Just
Now,
something.
here's a question for you. If you're picking up vintage that's slabbed already, and if it's miscut or trimmed or whatnot, wouldn't it be identified on the slab already?
You can spot it, and there is cards that have been slabbed. There'll be a card that'll be slabbed today and tomorrow that'll be trimmed, have a little taper cut. The biggest thing that I've noticed lately, and I've pointed out some cards, I've saved the cert numbers for them, and it kind of sucks. So what people are doing is, if you take the back of the card, they're actually tapering off about a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch right here. And they're just doing a little bit of a taper. They're not doing a full taper because the card's so clean. It's only got one bad corner. It was roughly a $2,300 PSA 10 Cal Ripken Jr., the trio card from 1982 Topps. It was sold about 3 or 4 months ago. And this card went completely straight, and then it kind of fell off a cliff, and it just had a nice taper towards the tail end. And they're basically tapering, instead of doing the full edge, which they don't need to because it only has one bad corner, they're basically cleaning up about a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch inside the card, and then they taper it off towards the edge. And when you're looking at it, you're like, wow, this card's beautiful. But keep in mind, you lay this card. If you ever see a guy that's selling a vintage card, he's got the card in the slab and it's got a little angle like that. I've even asked people, hey, you mind tapping that card down just so it lays flat? I want to see the same gap continuous from edge to edge.
Yep, makes sense.
And Rage makes a great point here. Go with your gut. Ask somebody that's with you. Hey, ask someone else. Hey, do you mind? I'm kind of new to this. Do you mind helping me over here? Do you know anything about vintage? If you're going to work on a house and you got something in the plumbing aisle, no one's there to help you. You see a guy with a plumbing shirt on. Don't be afraid to ask him. He knows what he's talking about. He's the plumber. Go to the guy that knows their stuff, and don't be afraid to ask a stranger for help. Say, hey man, I just trying to buy this card. Can you give me some advice here? Can I have a minute of your time? I'd love to help somebody out. Not saying that, you're going to find someone every time, but use your gut, man. And if you're not sure, walk away.
Yeah, do not ask your local cable company about security systems for the house.
Yeah, don't go to the baker to talk about an oil change. Just keep it real simple and stay in your lane and ask questions and don't be afraid to ask for some help, because there's a lot of great people at these card shows, especially the National.
And there's a bunch of resources out there. I mean, if you've already got somewhat of a set started of a particular card that you're looking for, bring a card from that set that you're trying to add to, and do a comparison. If the texture's right, if it looks right, hell, if it smells right, because apparently if it smells like grandma's basement, it's legit.
It's good.
And a lot of these dealers, if you got thousands of dollars of stuff sitting out there, get the guy's business card.
Yeah.
Pull your phone out, hit the record button, hold the phone in your hand, have a conversation with them. I mean, you don't have to get crazy with it, but hey, you mind if I take a couple pictures and send them to a friend? If they say no problem, then I think you'll be okay. But a lot of guys are not looking to, they're not looking to screw you, but they're out there.
Yeah.
So I know that sounds kind of counter, and it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense. I just, a fool and his money will soon part ways. Don't be a fool, because there's so many free resources out here.
I will go out on a whim and say, if you go to a vendor and he's comping off of the Beckett book, he probably knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. There's there's other ways that all of these guys in these channels will have some great advice on. And listen, people trim modern cards too. It's not just the old stuff.
Yeah, so these are just some pointers that we're throwing out there. All right. One other thing that I usually would bring with me is a centering tool. If you're looking at getting raw cards, you can find them on Amazon for like $10 to $12. They got the instructions in there. And it seems like, holy shit, it's a lot to carry with me. At the end of the day, it's going to benefit you at the end, because at least one, what you're getting, you're actually spending good money on. Two, if you've done your research and you did your due diligence, you're walking away with something that is actually legit, And three, you could be proud of what you bought, especially if this is something that you've never done in the past.
Yeah.
So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, good point. Hey, Bart, how's it going?
As
Thanks for
far
joining.
as trading and negotiating items, that's a no-brainer. You know, you're gonna bring your trade bait, whether it be raw cards, it be slabs. I don't know why I threw sealed wax in here. I'm not gonna go in there with a jumbo box and I'm trying to trade that in. That makes no sense.
It's not going to happen.
Just contact me. I'll see if I can do something.
There you go. And if you happen to be that person that has the digital payment apps, you know, you can have those on standby too. But remember, cash is king. Because again, you don't want to be trying to talk down a particular card you're looking for, and you pull out a little stack with a money clip on it. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, another thing too, with that being said, when you're going to these shows, I know Enfuego said something about the paper list. I love the paper list, but what I learned is that I'm not going to go to a vintage table with a paper list because he knows I'm buying.
Yep.
I take photos of my list as well, so I have them on an Excel sheet, and I either take a photo or you just download the thing to your phone. So you're not tech savvy like myself. I just take a picture of it, and then I'll look through my phone, and then I'll go through the cards and see what I need, and just say, hey, if I'm going to pick out X amount of cards out of here, are you able to work with me a little bit on the price? And just open it very very softly and very friendly, because you're basically wanting to know if you're going to waste your time or is he going to waste your time by saying no at the end. So ask that question first. If you're a set builder, these larger shows will have tables with guys with 4 and 5 binders of every single Topps year. You know, you want 1974 Topps, there'll be 5 binders on a table with different grades: VG binder, VG EX, near mint, and then somewhere between that 3 to 6, 7 range for the 70 stuff you can probably find in a binder and fill up a really nice set. So always ask the dealer, hey, how do you price your stuff? If they don't have anything posted on tiered stuff, 10 or more cards, 10% off, 20 or more cards, etc. Always ask, and you never know what they will say. Agreed.
And we'll touch more on negotiation tactics too. So just keep that in mind. I had all weekend and a couple of sleepless nights to come up with this stuff. So bear with me.
And he did a great job. I'll say that.
Yeah. No doubt.
Now, as far as comfort and convenience, because on average, a lot of us will spend minimum 90 minutes at these venues, whether it's large or it's just your local VFW hosting a regular show. Make sure you're wearing some comfortable shoes. Don't go in there with some damn stilettos for the ladies and some steel-toe boots for the guys.
My steel-toed boots are very comfortable. I wear them every day.
I went with flip-flops one year, and I'm like, man, my feet were killing me.
Oh, not flip-flops.
It was hot. It was so hot, though. It was like 100 degrees in there.
I can't wear flip-flops because my toes throw gang signs.
Really?
I will never wear flip-flops.
I usually bring a water bottle with me. I'll bring some lickies and chewies.
Oh, some lickies and chewies. Nice. Okay. Get a little sugar in you.
Yep. And then hand sanitizer and or wipes, because you're touching an abundance of cards and it can get messy. And obviously, I work in the health department. I deal with cooties on the daily.
Yeah.
All right. Now, for the purposes of security and protection, I think Arnie touched on it a little bit earlier, and somebody made mention of it in the chat. When you're handling hard cash, don't flash large sums of money. Okay.
Yeah. Go to the bathroom and count out what you need and come back.
There you go. It makes sense that way.
And listen, if you're going there to buy a large card, and I've seen some deals go down with 20, 30,000, 15,000, 5,000 on the table. Hey, do you mind if I step back next to you and sit down next to you? We'll count this together. Absolutely. They'll do that for you, especially at a large show. They will not have an issue with that. Another thing, Mike said, this was good. If you want to, I need nose plugs for the crop dusting. Please don't crop dust anybody. Go back, walk away, man. Yeah. And if you guys are worried about that, get a little bit of Vicks Vapor Rub, put a little bit underneath your nostril. You're good the whole day. You'll be smelling mint farts all night long.
And then the last thing that is just a personal thing for me, if I'm walking around with a backpack or a case that has lock capability, I'm locking my stuff up too.
Yeah.
Because you put it down And usually, if I'm bringing something small, I would put it in between my legs while I'm working something out. Never put it off to your left or your right because
What?
instantly it'll grow legs.
Yep.
Okay, so that's just some of the things that I would bring with me if I'm going to a card show. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that everybody has contributed to that I may just consider trying out, see if it works for me.
Yeah.
So
one last thing I do want to add.
What's that?
I do use a backpack. I don't, because I usually have a good amount of cards that I acquire or a good amount of cards I'm bringing to try and trade. If you're going to do this, it's worth the investment. They're not that expensive. You can get them between $50 to $100. A backpack where the zippers are at your back once the straps go on. Once you put the backpack on or over your shoulder, the straps are not at your back. I was walking out of the show at Cleveland and this guy had stuff sticking out. And I just walked up to him, I grabbed, I said, hey, you zip your stuff up. And then we were talking. I go, they make book bags that have the zippers that you can only access once you take the backpack off. That's what you need at a card show. I see people walk around with all these zippers and people bumping into people. And that's just a good way to get your stuff stolen.
Agreed.
And another last one to that is if you have a backpack, most criminals are pretty stupid. Throw an air tag in there. They're like $15. Throw an air tag in your backpack hidden somewhere, put it in a slab, in a stack of slabs, put it in a top loader in between two cards, get a thick top loader, pop the air tag in between, get like a 240 point top loader, put two cards in between your air tag and put it with the rest of your top loaded cards in the box that you have. You're lucky to get your stuff back. And
that will only work if you have an iPhone.
Well, they do have an Android version, I believe, right?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, get yourself an Android, get rid of the Android, get you a backpack. Yes, Orlando has air tags. Yeah.
There you go.
Rambo knife in the Pelican is a great.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's everything that I would bring with me. Now, we're at the venue. Okay. Now, Arnie, when you get to a card show, okay, as soon as you walk in, what are you doing? What are your first moves when you walk in?
I take a break. I take a deep breath. I don't get too excited. Kind of like when I go to a casino, I have a budget. Okay. And the sensory overload is a thing. You really do get like, whoa, especially people going into the National for the first time, or even going from a 40 table show at your local, rec center to a 100 table show at City Hall or something at a bigger place. Okay. You walk in and right away it's like, don't run to a certain table. Don't run to a certain location. Take in the show. Take your time. A lot of this I'm speaking from is the National, which is a multi-day event, or even if you have one full day, there's so much to see. Start walking in and work your way to the left, then go down, work your way back to the right, and then work your way back to the front door, kind of like a box. That's kind of what I usually do in terms of checking everything out and the way these shows are set up. But the first thing I do is, I take a break. I'll go grab something to drink and then get settled in with my plan. I always have a plan, like you said, Enfuego. I know it sounds like it's, a military thing, but for me, it's just, I have a hard time paying attention to something for a long time. So I have to write things down a lot. And it keeps me in line because I have a plan. I know what I want when I'm at home. I have my budget. But man, you start seeing some of these cards, that budget, that sheet goes right out the window. You're like, I got to have that. And that's okay.
So now, Mike, I know you said that you've never gone to a show.
No.
Now, if you had an opportunity, and we'll keep you at a small venue, you go to one that's being hosted by your local VFW. Mm-hmm. Okay. What are your first moves as soon as you enter the venue? You pay your administration, your little fee, you go inside. What is the first thing that is in your mind that you're gonna be doing just to get a feel for the place?
Well, we actually have one coming up in Warminster. There was one in November that I didn't get a chance to go to because it was right before Thanksgiving. I couldn't get the time off, but there's one on April 12th. And I noticed that it's $10 to get in from 10 o'clock until close. Mm-hmm. And then it's for an additional $5, you can get in an hour earlier. So I'm going to pay the additional $5. I'm just going to walk the tables and see what's out there. And I'm looking for vintage, since it's the Philadelphia area, I'm looking for vintage 70s and 60s Phillies cards. And
Nice.
the first thing that I thought is like, I'm going to have a list of the cards that I need. And then Arnie says, don't bring a paper list.
Yeah.
Right.
Bring it, just don't show it to the guy.
Yeah. Don't show it. But I can put it on my phone and go through it that way. And also, you know, just like this stream has been an experience for me, you know, and like Arnie also said, you know, check the tables, see who's going to work with you if you're going to buy bulk. And and like Arnie said, most of the cards are going to be in minors, which would be much easier to flip through and go through that way. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Like the first hour, just get a lay of the land and see what's going on. See, you know, talk to some people and strike up some deals or something like that, because I'm new to this. This is going to be the first one I'm going to.
And that's a big show, Mike. So those shows, you can actually get those real small foldable, not like a chair that you take to, you know, the park to watch your kid play baseball.
Oh yeah, just like a little fishing chair.
A little fishing chair that's a little foldable, just enough pop your squat, because the National will have those bigger tables. We'll get X amount of chairs, but those chairs disappear by day one. They're gone, and you're standing there all day. Those little seats are great for looking through bulk binders, and most of those guys, you'll see them with all the chairs, but they're always taken too. So just bring that little tiny chair with you, pack it in a backpack, or, you know, carry it with you, whatever. It's collapsible, it's small, and doesn't weigh much. But yeah, little fishing chair is the best thing you can bring to you.
Go.
If you're in a set building.
I'm going to go there with $200. That's going to be my limit.
That's
and
great.
I'm just going to see what they have, see how many base cards I can get. I'm not looking for, you know, the star players. I'm looking for the base. I just want to get the base cards and start building those sets from the.
You want to get your money in the best way you can. Get the best out of your 200.
Yeah.
Works for me. And I kind of want to mirror what Mike said, because I do it. So basically, when I get to a venue, I pay my fee. And the first thing I'm doing, okay, before I start going off on a tangent is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Arnie, but traditionally, small venues, they're usually set up to where you have an outer perimeter of tables and vendors, and then you have a smaller perimeter inside of it.
That's 100%, and it's usually a square. You make your way, you go left, and then work your way back around the box, you know, out the maze, or you go left, and then you work your way to the right, and then back out the front door that you came in.
There you
go. Yeah, most shows and conventions are like that.
So what I do during my initial walkthrough is I'm scouting vendors. I'm identifying which tables have some deals going on. Okay. At the same time, I'm gonna keep in the back of my mind, because I know, me being in Florida, the biggest damn vendor out here is Leighton Sports Cards. Okay. So I'm gonna be like, okay, Leighton is gonna be staged right over here. And in reality, they strategically set themselves up right as you walk into the venue, which makes sense.
They've got the prime spot.
And then this way, while you're walking through, it helps you to avoid impulse spending, because you want to make sure, you want to get a feel for what everybody has to offer. Because if you go to table 1 and you find that, you know, that Jackson Merrill numbered the 10 auto at 700, but if you go down 5 tables further, you might find that same card for 400.
Yeah.
You know, so just keep that in mind. Another thing that I like to do when I'm at a table, I like to try to keep a set time limit per table. You know, if I'm going to be there, if there's like 30 tables or whatever the case may be, I'll spend 5-10 minutes, give or take, per table. That way, it'll give me enough time to see what they have to offer in greater detail. Ask those questions, you know, are you buying? Are you trading? Things of that nature. Or if there's something that you're looking for that he doesn't have displayed, he may have it. And, you know, things like that. Unicorn instances happen a lot.
Yeah. And there's a lot of times where cards go up in price and people don't change the prices. Don't argue. Just go, wait a minute. Hey, can I see that? all right, I'm interested in that, and just pay the price. There's a lot of times where you're going to go up to a guy and you're going to get turned off. You never know what kind of day he's had, and he could have just got some bad news on a personal level. Don't ignore all that. They're not out there to get you. You're not out there to get them. Just get the card that you want and leave. But a lot of these people try to build relationships. I have been in the card collecting world for a long time. I enjoy this away from work, but I enjoy meeting new people and getting to build those relationships, because that's what it's all about. You're not going to have to give away the card, for free if you're selling or trading, but you don't have to pay, over if you're a buyer. Just somewhere in the middle that works for everybody. And then, hey, keep me in mind if you ever come across X, Y, and Z. Well, here, let me give you my card. Or here, hey, do you mind if we exchange information if you're going to work a big deal and maybe go around the room like you said? Hey, I saw it at 700. This guy's got it at 4. Yours is a newer slab, or yours is in PSA. His was an SGC. I don't mind paying up a little, but can we get kind of closer to that middle of the road? And then maybe you can get something done, but don't go up there expecting for a dealer to just give you what you want. That won't happen. You got to take a better approach to it.
So I'm seeing a lot of the comments from everybody being very facetious.
Yeah, be authentic.
I'm gonna go out of my way, and on my last video of me being at a card show, I actually went in there and went all Tom Cruise and did yell, "Show me all the Julios." Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I shit you not. Okay, I actually did that. All right,
you have to do that every time now. You have to film that and then post that. That would be. You want to talk about clicks? That will happen.
Okay, I got you. And then the last thing, when you're doing your on-site navigation or recon or whatever, also, I touched on it a little bit. You're gonna identify your high value tables. You're going to identify your low traffic sellers, the ones that really don't have a lot of traffic. A lot of people are not going to their tables, because 9 out of 10 times those would be those tables that are offering those last minute discounts.
Yeah,
because I'm sure a vendor would love to go back to leave the venue with less than what he came in with.
Yeah, and that's true. Me and my brother-in-law went the national. Well, I went a couple times. My brother-in-law got to go one day. We went Sunday. It closed at 4. We were still in the building at like 5 o'clock. And while it was closed, and they don't know who we were. We could have just standing next to a table. They thought we were probably working with somebody. And actually, Orlando turned me on to him. It's the gentleman that got his card stolen. So great guy. I said, hey, Orlando sent me over here. I watched a lot of his videos, and I'm looking for something. And I was looking for a Cy Young card, and it's been on my list amongst a few other cards. And I didn't buy anything. It was the last hour of the show, and he's packing up. His sons are there. And I'm thinking, man, I'm coming at the wrong time. Here I am standing here with my brother-in-law, 2 guys standing around his table. They're closing up shop. We're trying to distract somebody. That's what this looks like. And I told my brother-in-law, like, this doesn't look good, because this is exactly what those guys that stole their case of cards. This is exactly what happened. But he had a card for like $2,600. He's like 23, and I couldn't get the money out fast enough. And he stood there while my phone died. His son got got a charger for me, a boost pack charger, plugged my phone in, got my phone to turn back on so I can send him the balance in PayPal. So, yeah, Ash, exactly. Yeah, great guy. Everything worked out great. It was awesome. And I walked around to another table, and this happened to be a local guy who closed his shop 13 years ago in Medina, about a half hour, 45 minutes from me. And he says, you looking for anything in particular? And I said, no. You got anything you need to force me to buy? Like twist your arm prices? And he goes, last comp on this was 800 something. It was a out of 500 Goldschmidt refractor auto, PSA 10. I got it for $450. I mean, I could have went on and took a photo and sold it in an hour for $250 more. And he made me buy it. And I wasn't looking to buy that card. I don't even collect Goldschmidt. I don't even think I own one of his cards that are graded. And I couldn't pass the deal up, though. So if you're looking to buy a certain card and you still see it there on day 2, your day 3, you're going to leave on Sunday and that card's still there, make the offer that day. Don't make the offer on Friday. Yeah, and Ash is a great guy. He'll work with you. I didn't even have to say anything. I just said, hey, Orlando sent me over here, told me you had some nice stuff. And, I'm kind of interested in that. I'm a Cleveland fan. I'm from Cleveland. And he just took $300 off the top, where I was like, I would have been happy with $100 off. And so there's a lot of good people out there. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to not lowball somebody, but just say, instead of a lowball, say, hey, here's where I'd like to be. Change your verbiage. Your verbiage, just by changing it and saying, hey, I see you got $3,000 on that. How's 2,200? No, just say, I feel more comfortable at 2,200. Is there any way we can get a little closer to my number versus the $800 difference? Then it just it settles the whole interaction right away. It's like, oh, okay, this guy's willing to work with me, but let's see what we could do here, because most of these guys are going to price stuff higher at the National. Just let it be known.
Definitely.
It will be up, bumped up. The table cost is expensive. The 5-6 days of travel, the hotel stays. These guys spend $5,000 to $7,000 in expenses before they even sell a single card. You're talking $3,000 to $5,000 for a table.
Yep, and that was a perfect example on leading to this next segment. What are some optimal phrases or strategies when you're in the negotiation phase? Now, some things that I have done, I've come up with, what is the best that you can do on this particular card? I've done that sometimes. There's times where I would actually offer something like, would you take X dollars in cash? Or, throw him a negotiation as a bundle. Okay, would you take if I want this and I throw in that, would you take X in total?
Yeah, pay asking on a $100 card and then offer $200 less on a $1,000 card, and then give him full price on his $150 card. It kind of,
because ultimately bundling strategies actually improve your likelihood of a negotiation going your way.
Yeah, and it's how you approach the table too. Because like you said, I don't care that you're having a bad day. I don't know you, but you know what? We're all human. So let someone have a bad day, and just, you're there to get the deal done. You're there to get that card for the best price.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, Mike made a good point.
Yeah, well, those guys, you just don't waste your time. Yeah, there's guys that are going to be that out of bounds. Mike Petty is right. There's guys that's going to be that far off, and you're going to go, wait a minute, this is crazy.
There you go. That's another one.
Yeah, exactly, Adrian.
Hey, Adrian.
And hello, Adrian, by the way. I don't know if I missed you or you just jumped in, but glad to see you in the chat.
For those of you that have been on the vendor side of the hobby, do you feel a sort of animosity or anything like that if somebody approached your table? You've got a Ricky Henderson rookie card, okay, and it's got a big old nasty line running right across it. You're selling it for $600, but then that person is offering you $400 because of that line across it. Are you presenting it that way? Kind of like the introduction of, hey, how you doing? I'm so and so. What's your name? Hey, do you mind if I see that? Do you start an introduction with that and then bring up the flaw? You know what I mean? Because then you're building a relationship right away. Yes.
I've walked up to people and I go, hey, you got some really nice stuff in here. And I say that all the time because I'm just usually in awe by these cases that I can pick this up and go, there's about $1 million in this case. And then you'll see that commonly at the National. And you go, wow, I can't believe the cards this guy has. So I've walked up and just given a small compliment like, hey, you got some really nice stuff. Do you mind if I see that right there? And then just put it back. Don't even have no interest in it. Just look at it and put it back. And then look at something else, and then go for the cards you want. Kind of see if he's, see if he's a guy that likes to talk. See if he's a guy with some knowledge. A lot of people say, "Hey, if you need to see anything, let me know." Other people are just like off in their own world. You have to flag them down and throw a brick at their head to get their attention. It's like, "Hey, guy, I got a fistful of money here. I want this card. Can you turn around?" So yeah, you'll have all that. Just don't get turned off by different dealers and different, the attitude you may think they have, because they're just there to sell cards and you're just there to buy a card.
Because ultimately, you will come across a situation where you do find a card that interests you. It's some significant damage to it. He has it priced at a certain price point. You're trying to bring it down a little bit, not dramatically, but you're trying to bring it down low enough that you're comfortable. And you explain to him, look, I would like to offer you X amount. And the reason why I'm offering you this mount is because, you know, you have this sore eye piece that it kind of takes away from the eye appeal of the card, you know. But then you'll have that his rebuttal will be, well, that's why it's priced the way it is right now. Don't get upset about that, you know. And that goes into my next point. You know when to walk away from a deal that just does not make sense to you.
Yeah, if you don't feel good, like I think that was about a half hour ago, someone said, if you just don't feel like the card's legit, or if it's a deal that, you know, it doesn't have to be about a fake card or a real card, whatever part you're not uncomfortable with, walk away. If you feel good about going back, then go back. If you don't mind, Enfuego, Mike Petty, about 10 comments up, when your favorite dealer at 827, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. He's saying that from experience, buying a lot of vintage over the years. Building that relationship is how that happened. He knows that's his favorite dealer because the guy always gets X amount of stuff. He always has the goods, right? He has what he likes. But that's because he's learned that about that dealer. Don't be afraid to build a new relationship. I know we're not, 20 years old anymore, but most of us in here are a little bit older. You're never too old to meet new friends and meet new people. This is how the hobby stays a hobby. You have to build these relationships. And if you don't, you're just going to have that one interaction. And then in 5 years from now, especially a big card, you're going to go, yeah, I bought that card, but I just bought it. I didn't get to know the guy. I didn't get to know a story on the card. Where'd that come from? Hey, you don't mind me asking, you know the history on the card? Ask questions like that. People love to tell the history on a card and where they got it from. Actually, I bought it from a collection. I posted a video on it. Oh, you do YouTube content? Awesome. What's your channel name? Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of you.
And that's where networking comes into play.
Networking. There you go. Good stuff.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, that would be my strategy that I normally take when I go to venues. And
minus the Julio chant. Don't be saying anything about Julio when you walk into a building.
You know what? The next time I go to a show,
you have to videotape that. You have to now. The whole chat's counting on you.
I will do it, and hold me to it.
You should do that, and then put that video in front of all your Julio reviews from now.
Oh my God! Hey, hold my
PSA
walk in
reveals.
Walk in, yeah. Hold my beer. Who's got the Julio cards?
Yeah. So, all right. So we've got 30 minutes left in here, and I just want to go ahead and I came up with a do's and don'ts checklist, if you will, that I personally use, and it's worked for me. Okay, so I mean, I would like to assume that it would actually work for somebody who has never gone to a show before. Maybe there's some people in here that's been going to shows that are hell. Their first show was before I was born, beast. But you never know. I mean, we all practice different things, and then that's what we determine what's the best avenue for us. So for me, I do plan and research every show that I go to. Okay, even if it's something that I have gone to at least once every month, because again, the venue may be the same, the location may be the same, the vendors are not always repetitive. Okay, you may have some new, you may have some that have been there for a minute and they're established. Do your research.
And a good show promoter will typically have the list of vendors, number one. Number two, they will rotate their dealers, which is good if they have a abundance of dealers. Let's say they have 60 dealers and they have 40 locations for the dealers. They're going to rotate the other 20 newer to the event type of deal. The seniority guys will get their commonplace and they'll rotate some of the guys that just kind of been in for under 5 years or something. But that's Mark C. Only one show for me. I was lost. Yeah, that's great, but it's an overload sometimes. It's like we call it. People say card porn all the time. They throw that around and they're like, man, it's card porn. Look at all this stuff. It's like going to a car show. It's all, you're like cars. It's all beautiful. I love it all. I don't collect certain things, but I can appreciate a nice table full of vintage hockey and football and all that other stuff.
Yeah. So do your research on the venue you're going. Okay.
Yeah.
bring cash and diversify your payment options if you happen to be that type of person. I do always do my full lap first, unless there are exceptions. If you happen to run across that holy grail that you've been seeking for years, that's the only time that I would actually stop what I'm doing and get my grail, because that's like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Now let me ask you this, Enfuego. How do you know if that's your grail card? Meaning, do you look at the pop report? Because let's say a PSA 10, and let's say it's whether it's a vintage card or it's a card that's numbered and it's an orange card that's only got 25 copies, but there's been only 2 that have been graded a 10, and you see that one that's graded a 10. Are you doing that homework on PSA's website? Are you cross-referencing it off of the eBay sales? How are you typically determining? Obviously, you like Julio and you have your own personal checklist, but is there a way you do it?
For example, let's go with the 22 update black gold set. Okay. I've got every one except the platinum.
Yep.
If I ran into a vendor and he had the platinum, I'm doing everything I can to get that card.
Got you. Okay, so you do have a little a little hidden list of, okay, this is going to change my whole entire game plan of this show. I'm going this direction because look what I just found, and I don't care if I buy another card. And I've heard that from other people that go to the National and have a $3,000 budget, and they blow their budget in the first half hour, and they're like, well, I guess I'll just hang out with my friends the rest of these 4 days because I have no more money and I'm happy. And that's great. You just keep staring at that card. And okay, so that's good.
I do what else? You're gonna want to know your dealer types too, and just price adjust accordingly. What dealer is focused on modern, which dealer is focused on vintage, who's got a little bit of both, because you'll have some that predominantly have modern stuff on their display cases, but then if you look a little bit further, they do have a smaller display case with T206s, for example. And that kind of throws me off, and I'm just like, wait a minute. Okay. It'll throw you off because you want to see, okay, what kind of T206s he's got. Just for the sheer enjoyment, because not many people have actually had the opportunity of either holding one or even let alone seeing one in person. So what else you got there? I normally kind of like what you was piggybacking off of, establish your relationships for future benefits.
Yeah.
If I ran into Arnie and he's running a damn a table or two, I'm gonna do my best to get on his good side, build a rapport, because who's to say he happens to be that vendor that bounces around from location to location in that area,
or calls you back and says, hey, just to let you know, I know you bought that card for me last week. Just keep in mind, guys, I have done that my entire life. And I know I say this all the time, where I hear someone on someone's channel go, they say whatever they say and it's incorrect. And that's my opinion, that they're incorrect, because they don't understand that there's another part of the hobby that they're just not a part of. So I don't get mad at what they said. It's just the fact that they were too lazy in saying, oh, nobody builds sets anymore. I have built my collection on people buying small sales from me. Okay. Now it's taken many, 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 many years. I'm not talking you're going to get rich off of it, but I've made money from it, or I've recouped money from buying boxes and opening them. The point is, though, is that I've built those relationships. So when a new release comes out, I know I could sell X, Y, and Z of that product. And that's the biggest thing that people that I would say is the number one thing, is build a relationship, whatever it takes. Just build a relationship. Don't even if you don't make a deal, just leave. Hey, you know what? Maybe we'll come together on another table. I'm here all weekend. Maybe I'll catch on another deal. I appreciate you showing me your cards. And with that, I appreciate you showing me these, even though we didn't come to a deal. Yeah. Absolutely. You're going to leave that dealer with a better attitude, and he's going to treat the next person a little bit better, because he's not sitting there like, oh, these guys are wasting my time. Another tire kicker,
Yeah. So those are just some things. Are you planning on getting any megas anytime soon?
Like everything else, man. If it's priced too high, the answer is no. We'll rip other cards.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Also,
but I will let you know, Beast.
One thing a lot of people have a bad misconception of: the vendor will not get upset at you if you ask for him to pull out a specific card out of his display. He hands it to you and you pull it out the top loader and the sleeve. Make sure you inspect what you're looking to buy.
Yeah. And if it's just plastic over the top loader, or I'm sorry, over the a baggie over the slab like this,
yep,
that's okay. But if it's in the top loader, I always ask, hey, do you mind if I pull this out? If it's a top loaded card, like an ungraded card,
yeah,
but something out of the baggie. And also watch for the price stickers in the funny positions. We've seen a couple of vendors.
Oh, yeah.
Don't just grab a card and immediately take it out.
Yeah, ask the guy if it's okay. And
yeah,
most people will be more than happy to take it out for you.
Yep. Another thing to keep in mind too, Maddie was harping on it as well.
Oh, Maddie's in here. Hi, Maddie.
Leverage your bulk buys and end the show discounts.
Yeah.
Capitalize on all of that.
Everything in here is such good advice. Just reading the chat, I can't read everything and comment on everything, but boy, I tell you, if this was just a silent film, there's a lot of good stuff in here that just
absolutely.
It's great.
Yeah, I like that by Hobby Pound. Yeah, show some respect. That's not your card.
Yeah,
it's their card.
Not yet. Exactly. I know you want the damn thing.
Yeah, you want it, but just show some respect and ask.
Exactly.
Mark, if you don't mind, real quick, Mark, if you want to put something in, you're fairly back new to the hobby. You have your son that you collect with now. You said you went to a show and you were lost. Just drop some stuff in the chat. I'm curious, like what did you think of it? Was it overwhelming, or was it just too much? It was just like you couldn't handle it, or you wanted to buy everything.
Yeah. I think if I went to the National, I think my head would explode.
I walked around for 2 days and I didn't buy a damn thing. It's like a museum. Someone said it's like a museum. It's amazing.
Exactly. Like on the Smithsonian.
You tell people that about these card shows and they're like, wait, how much money? I'm like, yeah, you go to some of the auction houses, they're going to have $50 million in inventory on display.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Definitely.
Heritage, REA, all those guys. Yeah, they're going to have hundreds of millions of dollars of cards on display.
Mm-hmm. A little thing to keep in the back of your mind too, everybody, is just know that dealers are not going to be there to make your life hard when they decline an offer, because at the end of the day, they want to move their inventory that they came with. They bring in a whole bunch of shit. They want to leave with less than what they came in with.
They just may not have room on that card you're interested in.
Yeah.
Or the margin is really small.
There you go.
And if you're looking to do a trade, it's okay to take a loss on a card. I've done it many times. You'll get it back. Yep. Mark, she said it was overwhelming, but Mark, it was fun though, right? It was like, wow, this is just so crazy. I can't believe how much stuff is here. That to me is what I think when I hear overwhelming.
Yeah, it's kind of like like when you're a kid. We went to Disney World in like 1976 when it was only open for like 10 years or something like that. But we were only there for 3 days, and there's so much to see and so much to do. You just don't know where to start.
Yeah,
you're bouncing, you're going zigzagging all over the place. Trying to do everything.
Yep. So, and throughout your entire, one thing a lot of people tend to forget if they're having a crappy day and they couldn't get no deals done, and I'm talking about you as the one going to the show. If nothing went right for you, okay, you couldn't close in on any deals or anything like that, just know and just keep one thing in the back of your mind. Keep it classy, okay? Don't be a dick because you didn't close on a particular deal because somebody didn't want to move either way on the card that you're looking for, because being friendly goes a long way.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. You got a visitor in here in Fuego.
Oh, there goes my baby. She's actually cooking dinner right now.
Nice.
So those are some of the things that I actually do on my checklist. Now we're going to get nitty gritty and go with the do not do. Okay. First thing is, do not assume that the comps are static. They change 3, 4, 5 times in a day. Just know that. Okay. You may have comped out everything that you're looking to get at this show the night prior, Okay, when you actually get there and you run into those cars, they may not necessarily be that way. They may be cheaper, they may be double in price. Who knows? All right, just be flexible and prepare yourself. Hope for the best, but expect the worst. Doesn't hurt to double check any recent comps on those mentioned platforms like your eBays, your 130 points, anything like that. Again, do not flash your big wads of cash, because all you're doing is just putting a target on your back.
And early on, Kyle at Long Ball Cards mentioned if you're looking for like a specific big card, try to write the comps down as well, just in case your cell phone doesn't work and you don't have cell service. Or hey, ask the dealer. Listen, this is a big purchase. I want to make sure I get everything right here. Do you mind if I use your phone? Can you pull up comps on this? Do you mind if I check a couple comps? Anybody that's looking to get a deal done, they're going to be helpful. So don't be afraid to ask something like that.
Yep. I appreciate my daughter for the nice dono. Thank you so much.
She put it on your credit card.
Yeah. Can she just walk in the room and hand it to you?
No, my daughter's in Texas right now, actually.
Oh, Texas. Okay, I got you.
All right. So the next thing is also keep your do not, when you're negotiating pricing on a card, do not lowball with no justification. Okay, why did you come up with that particular number, with the exception of you just trying to get the best part of the deal?
Yeah, just handle it. Hey, you don't mind if I ask how you came up with that number, do you? Because I know my comps are a little different, and then just approach it like that, and you're just going to get so many more deals done, and then maybe find your new favorite dealer at a show.
Absolutely,
because a lot of the guys at the national, if you're going to the national, are the same people. A lot of guys at your regional show every quarter, every 6 months, whatever it is, those are the same people. Same thing with these smaller shows. It's usually the same people for the most part.
Yep.
Get to know them.
If you really need a reason to justify for example, if you're looking at a $200 card that he's got priced for, and you're offering $100, okay, come up with some that goes back to inspecting what you're looking to buy. Okay. Mm-hmm. And if something sticks out to you, let him know. Look, you could point out condition issues. You can point out, look, it's sold on this day for $125 or $150 or whatever the case may be. Now, don't try to base those comps off of something that occurred like a year ago. All right, you're setting yourself up for failure. Mm-hmm. Or bundle. Focus on that card, but then throw something in else a little bit less than what you're asking for, and then offer something reasonable. Other thing is also, don't rely on a dealer to know their own inventory's value either.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. That's I've seen a lot of dealers where they've got stuff priced a certain way. You would ask them, where'd you get this number? And they're giving you the duh look. Okay. Not saying that they're stupid and they're incompetent. Okay. Somebody else, it may have been a team effort to set up at that show, and they just wasn't involved in the pricing aspect of it. So just keep that in mind. Spotting undervalued inventory by staying ahead on player trends and market moves. You know, I mean, if you like me, anything that I see that is Julio related, I try to stay on top of what he's going with on a daily, and I'll keep that in the back of my mind when I see something that catches my eye, and I can use that, I guess you could say, kind of like in my leverage and to my advantage, but sometimes it doesn't work. Don't rush into trades either. That will kick you in your ass as well. Just because a trade seems, relatively fair on paper, it doesn't really mean that the values are on the same sheet also. Because if I remember, I did a video January of last year, and I traded for a PSA 10 Julio logo fractor, and I had to give up, I think it was like 5 or 6 different slabs to equal the value of that one Julio. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you find yourself having to do that. I mean, it is what it is. don't be afraid to walk away if the deal does not seem right to you. Don't feel like you're back between a rock and a hard place and you have to pull the trigger on it. You really don't. The only things that you really have to do that you have no say so in is breathe and pay taxes. That's about it. All right. Depending on what the card is, you know, your chance there's always a chance that you may run into it again at a future show or whatever the case may be. Okay. And you know, it's not the end of the world. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay. Do not ignore supply and demand cycles. You may have a card that is highly sought after, it's priced high, you're trying to bring it down, he's not budging because of its rarity. Okay, don't cry over spilled milk. If you have the ability to meet that, if you have the ability to meet that person at that value, by all means do so. If you can't, walk away. Don't try to kick a dead horse and convince him, please, 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 I really need the car, because all you're gonna do is just really force him to say no, but he's gonna say it in a more firm manner. All right. What else? Do not hold cards that you do not bring cards that you don't have any intention on doing nothing with. Okay, the only things that you should be having with you is stuff that you actually plan on moving, either to help you obtain something to add to your collection, or you're gonna sell it to a vendor to get the money to invest it into something to add to your collection. Okay, because all you're doing is just bringing stuff that is unnecessary, and at some point it becomes a pain in the ass. And then the last thing I do want to end it off with is, again, security of your items that you're bringing with you. Keep that backpack on you at all times. Keep that case between your legs if you have to put it on the ground. I've seen somebody in the chat earlier say, you know, take your wallet, put it in your front pocket, because you never know. You know, I mean, and these are just some things that I do on the regular, and so far I have yet to experience something negative going to a card show. I mean, is there anything that I'm missing that you could think of, Mike, Arnie?
Well, I've never been to a card show, so I think it's just be aware of your surroundings more than anything.
I appreciate the dono there, Long Ball.
Yeah, Long Ball, thank you. The only thing, well, Arnie's not here, but I just want to say that when Enfuego sent out all the spreadsheets and everything, and it was all about going to card shows and all this stuff, I've never been to a card show. Like, what am I going to add to this? So it's like, well, this is going to be a learning experience for me, you know, and the things that I thought I was going to do were changed by people in the chat, people on the panel, you know. So it was great for me, and I hope it was great for everybody else. So I just kind of, you know, sat by as a bystander, because I really didn't think I had anything to add to it. So I've learned a lot. So I appreciate everyone in the chat for throwing in their, you know, their comments and everything, and making it aware to everybody else that we can expand on it, because Arnie and Enfuego have been to card shows, and I'm sure a lot of a lot of people in the chat have been there too. So yeah, it was great. So
always room to learn too, you know.
Absolutely,
another learning experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's no gonna be,
don't be afraid to you never know what direction a show takes you, because you bought something and that changes gears because you have less budget, or you have more budget because you got the card at a better price. So yeah, just be prepared for whatever it is, and then there's nothing wrong with coming home from a show and having the same amount of money because the deals just weren't right.
There you go. I mean, I personally feel, though, as I threw out a whole bunch of stuff at everybody, you know, on my experiences with going to a car show, but I do hope walking away from this, at least something I've mentioned was productive and could possibly be used. You never know, because I know there's some things that was mentioned here I plan on implementing.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I think you covered a lot.
Yeah, I've got so many things written down. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate everybody's input. I do appreciate Jenny coming in here and
Jenny's
advertising everybody's channel for us.
And go check out Jenny's channel. I mean, her photographs are absolutely amazing on there.
Agree.
Yeah.
So
go check out. Do we even have Jenny's? I'm gonna put her channel up. She's promoting everybody else.
Yeah, I know Sean dropped her channel in there.
I'm gonna drop
it.
She has
a wrench in there, so you should be able to just click on her name. It'll take you right there.
Yeah. But just in case, there you go. Take you right to it. Thank you, Jenny.
And if you guys have a channel and do make content, feel free to share the Junkies podcast. Maybe on a Sunday night if you can post it.
I would appreciate it, because we're trying to get the word out to everybody. I know you've seen a whole bunch of people doing their own versions of podcasts and everything like that, but a lot of them primarily focus on the drama within the hobby.
Yeah.
And we're trying to stay away from that. We're trying to lean more towards the educational aspects of it, because again, it's supposed to be a hobby, and the best way to do it is based off of experience and just the fun aspect of the hobby.
Yeah, right? build it up with a hobby, and what you put into it, you'll get it right back out of it.
There you go. All right, so with all that, Mike, is there anything upcoming that you have going on?
I've got nothing coming on. I'm just gonna coming up. I'm just gonna wait for the next spreadsheet to come out for the next podcast. Do something. I'm looking to do something this weekend. I can't guarantee it, but I've been sitting on something for about 2 months.
There we go. Mike's doing a break. Let's go.
No, it's not a break. No. It's not a break.
You're gonna get me excited.
But I actually have to get this done, and it's been way too long. Yeah. And it's just like everything with work is just like it just snowballs all the time.
Later, first.
Yeah, now we're back. We're at a level spot with work and all that other stuff. So I've got some time coming up. I want to get this done for a fellow Cardmunity member.
Yep.
I'm going to plan to do it this weekend. It's probably going to be on Sunday, more than likely.
Okay.
That sounds like a plan.
So I definitely want to get this done.
Okay. Well, we know that Arnie has his online LCS on Fridays.
Yep.
Time varies.
Yep. 8 o'clock till whenever.
There you go. So besides that, you got anything else happening?
Just I'm going to work on the fantasy baseball, and it'll be for people that just buy anything, whether it's the cheapest $2 pack on the site or something that's more expensive. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's going to be at random. And with baseball pretty much right around the corner,
oh boy.
I think a fantasy baseball will be pretty fun. Yeah. And listen, guys, if we have more people, maybe we'll do a group thing, like Enfuego and Michael get a spot, and then these two guys will get a spot, and you guys can co-own the team, because baseball is not like football where you got to check it once a week. You got to check it daily.
Sometimes you got to check it daily. Yeah.
So I think maybe 2 or 3 managers per team, and we get some more people involved. I think that'll be pretty fun.
Okay. Well, I really don't have anything going on as far as content is concerned.
Well, yeah, you do.
I just dropped a PSA reveal the other day.
It's a must watch.
Yeah. So if you haven't had a chance to go check that out, I would recommend you do so.
Drop the link. Come on.
Yeah, drop the link. And then drop a comment too after you watch the video. I'm just curious to see what people's thoughts are on the direction of that.
I saw it pop up on my notifications yesterday, but I worked kind of late, so I didn't even get a chance to watch it.
Yeah.
But I'll catch it tonight.
So, but I'm trying to get the damn link for it now.
Jesus, hobby. Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, you're the jerk.
Yeah, kind of like that, hobby.
Jesus.
Oh, geez. I see. You can't take hobby anywhere.
I'm going to be in the same hotel as he's at.
You can take him anywhere. You just got to kind of like put some tape around his mouth or something.
Yeah.
Cut off his fingers so he can't type.
Sounds good, Tom. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, guys, post in the chat whatever you guys got going on as far as
yeah,
upcoming
feel free
content.
to drop if you got something going on. Feel free to go ahead and
drop your
advertise.
links. That's what this is. That's what this is all for. It's for the Cardmunity.
There you go.
Good deal, Tom. Yep, we'll be checking it out.
So, but yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all we have. I'm gonna start working probably Thursday on next week's topic, and it's gonna be another segment kind of like this, but with a little bit of twist on it, because I know we deal with it every time we get into cards. And I'll talk to the co-hosts about it, get their thoughts, put everything together, and we'll go ahead and present it on Monday.
Awesome.
Sounds great.
I do appreciate everybody hanging out with us. If you haven't done so, hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. Go check out my co-hosts' channels. And with that, have a good night, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.